Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Great success so far. You must be delighted with how the response you've had from so many different places so far.
Yes, this one's turned out good. I got to be a producer on this one, so I had a little bit more say-so. And it wasn't. I've been lucky enough to have movies made before, but they felt like very watered-down versions of what I did. On this one, better or worse, whether you like it or hate it, this is what I did.
So what was going back to the beginning, what was kind of the catalyst for you to tell this story? Was it Tonya's, the event itself, or was it something that kind of piqued your interest in the first place?
No, I saw this documentary on 30 for 30 about Tonya Harding, and there were just elements in the story about class in America and what we tell women they're supposed to be, and truth and the perception of truth that I keep writing about. So clearly I'm working through something in my head, but it was framed in a whole lot of crazy, which interested me. And so I went onto the Tonya Harding website to find out if the life rights were even available. And I called a number for her agent, and it was a Motel 6. And I just thought, I'm so in. I don't know if this will ever be a movie, but I will definitely get a good story out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And so I tracked down Tonya Harding, and I tracked down Jeff Gillespie, and I interviewed them both. And when I did, their stories were so different and contradictory. They remembered everything differently, and I thought, well, that's my in. I'll just put everybody's version of events up there and let the audience decide what's what.
Absolutely. And I think that obviously gives it kind of a unique quality. It's not just a biopic. It has a bit more to it than that.
Well, I wanted the screenplay to be very rebellious and wrong-headed, because I felt the characters were all rebellious and wrong-headed. So I wanted to include those things that they tell you can't do in a screenplay. Like at one point, Allison Janney's character criticizes the screenplay, and she said, my storyline's disappearing, you know? And if it's definitely unconventional, and it doesn't really make sense, but it works because it mirrors the main characters.
Absolutely. Let me ask you about Margot. I mean, she came on as a producer as well as to portray. She went through some amazing transformations to do this, whether it's ice skating, whether it's becoming Tonya Harding. Yeah. When you saw her finished performance in the movie, what was your kind of reaction? Because I presume you'd see little bits of it on the set.
Oh no, I could see every day because they sent me the dailies, you know. And so I knew, but being on set with her, she's very low-key, no fuss. You know, no temperament, super prepared, really prepared. And so I didn't really realize how great a performance it was because there was no, you know, dramatics behind the scenes. She would modulate her voice depending on what age she was, just the slightest, and she would also modulate her sort of physicality and be more and more defensive, which is how Tonya, you know, sort of grew. But we did not shoot in order. So there were days where she was like 21, 18, 15, 24, you know, and she would just do that, but with no fuss. So you didn't really realize what she was doing until we saw the final movie. And then I was just blown away. She knew. Yeah. She knew. You know.
And let me ask you about Allison as well, because I think, if I'm right in saying that you've been trying to work together for a while.
Yes.
And this character kind of drew her in. It's a little bit different for her. I mean, she had some amazing roles as well. What was it about her that made her kind of perfect to play?
Well, I wrote it for her. But I've written parts for her before, and she's never gotten to play them. This one, I always felt like she's had the roles in television and in the theater, but in movies, she's always playing roles where she says, I'm the head of the CIA, you know, and I would always think, well, you're not. You're actually a genius. And I wanted to write a role that was so polar opposite of her. I keep looking this way because she's right there. That it would be undeniable that she's just really great. And so when I went out with the script, there was some heat on it. And I got to say, Allison Janney is playing the part that I wrote for her, and I want it in writing, or I will not come in and meet you. And I said that before Allison had even agreed to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a fantastic film. Congratulations.
Wish
you all the luck. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!